All right, welcome to summer. It's in the air, and where there's summer heat, there's usually some summer fun. Our next guest says now is a great time to refresh your outdoor space, just in time for all the entertaining you will do this summer. This segment is sponsored by Easton Outdoors. Mike Miller is the managing member, and he joins us with some backyard inspiration. Welcome to Hampton Roads Show, man. Good to see you.
Yeah,
we were just chatting about patio pavers.
Yep.
Having a good time. And finally, slowly is getting caught up after some supply issues back in like 2020, right?
Yeah, they're finally just catching up.
Yeah, which is great moving into what will be a busy summer for you guys. So let us, or talk to us a little bit about what are some of the main elements you look for in a space to kind of help transform someone's backyard. Maybe they only have a little bit of space, maybe they got some big space. What are some of the elements you guys look for?
Yeah, so oftentimes when you are looking in a backyard, people think of it just being just a patio or someplace that they can just sit. But there are other elements that make an outdoor space an actual outdoor space versus just a slab of concrete or pavers on the ground. Those elements typically are the lighting, so visual cues that you can have. So, you know, you'll create some depth by adding lighting further out into the yard, by uplighting trees, maybe even putting some low lighting right by the patio where your feet might be, or, you know, stuff where you're not going to have bright lights on your face. So you can kind of see, like, the lighting just creates an ambiance that people can kind of see and feel. Now, another element that you can do that's a visual cue is also landscaping, so creating depth. And so instead of just having like one layer of plants or one layer of something, you know, you can put stuff that bloom in different seasons, and that gives you a whole nother element and depth to the space. So maybe you have a tree that, you know, has red foliage in the fall, and then you have flowers that bloom in the spring, and then you have some summer flowers. So kind of creating that visual interest where things just change throughout the season. And
then you're not just going from totally in bloom in the summer to just crispy and dry in the winter.
That's
right.
You
have a little bit of versatility all year round. Now, we're not only talking about things that are visually aesthetic and pleasing in a backyard, but also we gotta incorporate all of our senses here to feel one with nature.
That's right.
So not only are we talking about visual, but also audible sounds.
Audible.
What are some of the things that you guys use and some elements you use to train our ears and get our ears going?
So as you can see right here in these pictures, we use a lot of water. Water just has a certain way about it that just transforms the way we feel outside, you know, from lowering our cortisol level to just making us feel, you know, the negative ions that water produces and puts into the air. It just kind of helps us lower our blood pressure and just really feel at home in a space. And when you have that sound of water just kind of in your ears, it can help drown out other things, but it also can signify, hey, I'm entering a space where we can relax. We're entering a space where, hey, this is my special zone. And it doesn't have to be a big feature. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You know, people always think of water features as like high maintenance or big, or it doesn't even have to be that. It could be a simple boulder that's just bubbling and just has that kind of like simple trickle sound to it. Or it could be a massive waterfall that makes you feel like you're at Crabtree Falls.
Or even one of those like little, it's a little different from water, but fire as well. Like some of the little propane fire pits that you just turn on real quick.
And that's kind of very audible as well.
Just like little the flame going as well. What are some of the things you guys do to make? What else is something you guys do to make people feel a little bit comfortable in your backyards? I mean, you're talking about all these comfortable senses, but also just comfort in general, room for making the outdoor space another extension of your home.
Yeah. So have you ever been sitting in a room and your back is maybe to the front door, and somebody walks in the front door and you all of a sudden are craning your neck to see who's behind you?
What's going on?
Right? So these are like, they're very subtle things, but they go into the psychology of a space. Like, how do you make a space feel comfortable? And some of that has to be like, how are you orienting the space, or what elements are we adding to make sure that there's a backdrop so that when you're sitting in a space, you don't feel like somebody's right behind you or coming up behind you. So there's ways that we lay out a space and we make sure that they're oriented maybe towards the back of the home, or if there's a neighbor or something like that, we'll try and position it into a corner so that you're kind of like looking out over the space. So you're not having awkward transitions and flows and things like that. So it's like, you don't, it's cool. Small changes in the layout like this make a huge difference in how a space can be experienced and how it can feel.
And then you'll find yourself outside every single morning having a cup of coffee, enjoying the summer mornings we have coming up. This segment of Hampton Roads Show is sponsored by Easton Outdoors. Easton Outdoors is located on McGuire Place in Newport News. Give them a call at 757-262-3232 or visit easton-outdoors.com. You can check out more photos on their social media page for inspiration. They're on Facebook and Instagram at Easton Outdoors LLC.